Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of City Skylines, and today we are introducing 3 new DLCs, the Shopping Malls DLC, the Africa in Miniature DLC, as well as the Sports Venues DLC, and we're really going to be kind of digging deep and seeing, are these DLC worth it? And if they are, which aspects of it I believe are the most exciting. And so what we're going to be doing is going around our city of Beginnerville, and we're going to be kind of upgrading some stuff. We're going to be building some new things. We're going to be looking at the DLCs and really seeing what we can do with them. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first big change that we had was actually a part of the free update hubs and transportation. And it involved a bunch of additions to quite a few different DLCs, mass transit DLC, After Dark, natural disasters, and a bunch of stuff. And so if we go into the transport tab, we can now dig into our hubs, public transport hubs. And this was really where we already had quite a few different options, especially when it came to the metro bus, as well as these end of lines and stuff like that. But now there is a plethora of other options. And one of my favorites is this metro tram hub with road. So what I want to do with this road, I came down here and I was kind of playing around with some options to be able to upgrade some of our transport. And I was looking at this area in particular because we have such a big tram emphasis here. And we also have an underground metro line that runs through here. I was like, you know what, this would just be a fantastic location for us to be able to plop down one of these things. So what we are going to need to do, we're going to need to pause for a second. We're going to delete this. We're going to delete our old tram line. We're going to delete these. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and delete 2 of these as well. And then let's go back into that tab. Let's grab that new transport line, and we want to make sure we turn it so that we can have the road going in the correct direction. We actually do need to get rid of some of our little line right here as well. Let's get rid of that station. Let's come in here, and then now we want to make sure that we can try to line up the roads, and this is kind of a difficult task, but I think we can do it. And voila, now we have this awesome looking tram station in here, and I really like this. And I think I'll probably even use these outside of having a metro connection, just to provide this little, space for people to board the tram. I think it's really nice. It's a really nice addition. I hope that this will lead into more tram stations in the future, because I absolutely love having little tram stops and stuff like that throughout the city. And so moving on to our next one, and this one's a huge one. When I first saw this, I was really pumped. We have 3 new harbor hubs, and these are fantastic because one of the big things that I kind of didn't really enjoy with these is that they're kind of small. They're really boxy. They're not that great. So what we're going to do is just delete all of this. We may need to come back here and kind of work with these roads a little bit. And so looking at our new options, we have the Harbor Ferry Hub, we have the Harbor Bus Hub, and we have the Harbor Bus Monorail Hub. So we do not have monorail down here, and I don't really think we're going to expand it out. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and plop this in and then connect up all the roads, and we'll be able to check it out. All right, so I got it all attached. We did have a little bit of an issue where I couldn't connect up this road. It's not the end of the world. You can kind of see the ground is just a little kind of bumpy right here. But the good thing is we got both these connected, and this is only a short cul-de-sac. I don't think that would be, a deal breaker for this area. But I think that this looks great. I love that it has the little boarding ramps over here. I think this is a much better harbor than the vanilla one. And so now we do have bus lanes as well. We'll probably come back through and do some bus lines and stuff. Right now, this whole area is filled with trams, so I really don't know if we're going to utilize it. But I just like the overall look of it a lot better rather than having those 2 smaller ones. I think that this looks fantastic. And remember, these are all part of just the free updates. So in order to have this, all you have to have is the mass transit DLC, I believe. And these were automatically added to it. And so this is just a great addition. I really like to see stuff like that happen. And so I do want to come around and try to identify some other areas where we can plop down some of these new stations. Sadly, there's really not a whole lot of room that we have, and I don't want to declare eminent domain in a lot of these neighborhoods. Like, I don't think it would be fair for these people. But there are some really fun hubs in here. In particular, there's some really cool metro, monorail, train ones, and there's a tram one as well. So like this one, so metro, train, monorail, tram. This just looks awesome. I love seeing these things. So this one connects to the road, and we kind of check these out. I was kind of playing around with placing one of these in the city. We only have 1 train stop, and my big issue, I was going to try to place this one, is these are not both train lines. So this is a metro, that's a train, this is a metro, that's a train. If these were both train and these were both metro, I probably would have placed this right here. But I really didn't want to have like a dead line and then a dead line, and I could kind of swoop them under and connect them, but I was like, you know what? I don't think that this is going to be a good fit. But I think in the future, what we're going to do is start planning around some of those hubs. And that's really the big thing here is we're going to be able to kind of add these things in and, incorporate them into our developments. This one in particular, I really like this hub a lot. I think this is super cool. So they added a ground line, an elevated line, as well as an underground line. So this would be like a great multi-platform transfer station. So we're definitely going to be building this here soon. I think that's going to be in part of a bigger, broader update. So now let's jump into our first DLC. And we're going to skim through the sports venues DLC because I feel like it's probably going to be the easiest. We're really only going to add in a couple. We're not going to plop down a bunch of stations or a bunch of stadiums everywhere. And so what we're going to do is go into parks. And so you have a few different options with this. If you go all the way down to the content creator packs, you have community stadiums. So you have like small soccer fields. You have an Australian football field, which is really cool. They added cricket as well, baseball field. And these are fantastic. And so what we're going to do, we're actually going to add these in to a few locations. So the first one that I kind of wanted to do so that we can just look at this and check it out, I want to grab my level terrain tool and I'm just going to smoothen this out real quick. And this is just would be such a great use of this space, especially since it's been sitting here for so long. I really like to see the city kind of incorporating new parks in and stuff like that. We're going to go like this. And now let's grab a road and extend this out just a bit. Let's actually turn on snapping so that we can find some sort of symmetry in here. And then let's do the same thing over here. We'll go up 2, and then let's do the same thing here. Go out to that curve. Yeah, we'll probably just go right there. And then actually let's go a little bit further because I'd like to follow the curve here. I feel like it would be a really nice aesthetic. So we'll grab this, connect it up, and then we'll come up over here. And then let's go ahead and go like this. And then I'm going to just curve it in. And then what I'm going to do over here is have it go like this, turn this way, and then just curve in there. Nice. And so now we've added just a really simple layout, but it's going to allow us to come back in here. And I want to place down a few of these. So we're going to do the baseball field. I really want to do we'll do the American football. So let's get that over here. Let's actually place it on the backside. Let's do this community soccer park. I actually really like this one because it has a cool little parking lot and grounds to it. I think that this is a nice little addition. It has this covering. It's kind of cool. It doesn't really have a lot of seating, but I think that that's probably the best bet. So there's the small soccer field and the community soccer park. And so now what we're going to do over here is add in one of these crickets. So I think we will let's add in this one. I actually like this one because it has paths around it. Yeah. And so now what we can do is go back in here and I'm just going to basically trace some paths all the way around here. And then I think I'm going to add in a couple little parking spaces, just kind of clean it up. That's one of the big things that we got added as well with the free one is some parking. So now if you come into parks and you go over to your other parks tab, you have this small decorative parking lot, large decorative parking lot, as well as a parking garage. And so we want to come through here and just do a couple of these small decorative ones. I actually think we may go across the street, go like this. Then go across because these would be where they'd have like pee-wee leagues and stuff like that, and you really would want to have some sort of accessibility for parking. Even though it is a park, you wouldn't want the whole thing to be parking, but you would want to provide at least a little bit. And so now I'm going to go back through to those gravel paths and I'm going to connect up the rest of this, turn it into a regular park as well, just that it's not all sports. People could still kind of walk their dogs and we'll check it out. Okay, and so here is our little community sports park now, and I actually really like that we can add these now in the vanilla game. I think that these are a fantastic addition, and I do believe that these are going to be released on the console versions by late summer, I believe they said. These are just awesome looking assets. I really believe that these are going to help to create a much more vibrant communities. I really like this addition. And so now if we dive into some of the bigger stadiums, if we go into the unique buildings tab, go to this content creator packs, we can click this new sports venue option. We can see all the stadiums, and these are larger stadiums. So you do have medium size, but you also have large size as well. So I'm going to go ahead and place all these on the side of this road and we'll be able to kind of look at these. Okay, and so here are our medium size and large size stadiums. And so first off, I got to say these are excellently detailed assets. They are really fantastic looking and I absolutely love them a lot. I like how a lot of them are kind of dug into the ground as well, like this one right here. It looks really cool. And then you can kind of see there's even some contemporary architecture on a lot of these. There's a really good mix of stuff as well. There's a lot of soccer/football stadiums. These are some bigger ones as well. I think this one's uniquely designed. I think it's very interesting that there's this kind of patio around it, especially for an American football. I don't know if that would be realistic, but I like how it's kind of dug in. I think it looks really cool. I like this one as well. I think this is going to be a baseball stadium that we actually upgrade one of our stadiums to, just because it kind of fits into the space really well. And then there's these grand ones as well. These ones would be like 50 to 60,000 person stadiums. This one's really cool too. This one's kind of dug into the ground. This one's an American football as well. And I like how it has the stands on the side and the translucent roof. It looks really cool. And so what we're going to do is upgrade 1 to maybe 2 of our stadiums. I think we can only fit 1 of them. So we have an arena right here, and we have an American football. So what I'm thinking, we can get rid of this. We're probably going to have to get rid of a couple things on the side here too. Let's get rid of that. And let's see if we can fit this baseball stadium over here, because I think that this is going to be a really cool option. So if we go like right there, so it looks like we're clipping this back road. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these, and then we're going to open that up. And I think this is a really cool fit here. I like the grounds in here, this whole big grassy lawn area. I think that it is a really good match in here. We do need to upgrade back our pedestrian road though. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab that pedestrian road, and we need it to have tram access. And so we'll go like this. There we go. Nice. And so we could even add in our new tram stop over here. I didn't even think about that because we do have one of our metro stops in here. So let's actually play around with this. Let's see if we can go like this, go into our new tram hub, and see if we can place this in here. I don't know if it's going to allow us to because of that other, oh, you know what? We'll go right there. And then let's see if we can connect up our roads now without them being all kind of wonky. So if we go like that, yeah, you know what? That is a really cool addition, and it adds a little crosswalk in here. It actually looks like we have a game going on here. Oh man, they're winning everyone too. Look at that. There's like a huge line to get in. Are these people getting out? Nice. And so now we can connect up our metro line and then just move our stops over here real quick. All right, so I got it all hooked up, got our metro and our tram lines hooked up. And so now I think this is a really cool addition to this area, especially right in front of the stadiums. I think it's a really awesome look. So we do need to reconnect up this tram line over here. We'll go ahead. I actually think it's a 6 lane. So we will grab this one with bike lane access, and we do need to find that one with bikes, bicycle lanes and trams. There we go. Let's upgrade that back. All right, so now what we're going to do is jump into a little bit of the shopping malls DLC. And in my opinion, I do believe that this DLC, this content creator pack, is 100% worth it. And so this is the whole reason to get any of these, is this shopping malls DLC. Though the sports venues one is very, very nice to have as well. I definitely would pick it up. But if you come in here and go into the shopping malls tab now, you have all these unique buildings. So you have the medium grocery store, the large grocery store, open air mall, which is really cool. And then you have an open air mall phase 2, which I haven't unlocked yet. It looks like you need 20,000 squares of commercial zone built. And of course, this city's not that big. And so, but then you have this Mall of Marvels as well, which we're going to be placing down. But then on top of it, you have a ton of growables as well, which is awesome. And so what I want to do is try to get one of these down here. I'd really like to maybe get this open air mall. Maybe we'll get rid of the posh mall and replace it with the open air mall. So let's come in here and see if we can place this right here now. Yeah, we can. Look at that. So if we go like that, I really like that a lot. I think this is a fantastic asset as well. This is really cool. I like how it's got the multi-levels as well. And then let's go ahead and do some paths around it. Just kind of clean it up with some trees. Just make it look a little more natural rather than having these kind of jagged edges all the way around. And voila, we have upgraded our posh mall to the new mall. And I think this is awesome. And so now while we're on that topic, let's go ahead and jump into a bigger improvement that I want to do. I want to use that Mall of Marvels, and I was looking at this space. So let's go ahead and delete all this. And let's actually rewind. Let's get rid of these before we get a little ahead of ourselves. These all cost a lot of money to maintain. Sports venues DLC, definitely worth getting. I think that these stadiums are fantastic. And so now let's go back into that unique buildings tab, and we want to grab this Mall of Marvels. And so what's kind of cool about this, they did a little bit of a curved road on the front side. So I think what we're going to do, we want to come like probably right about here. And then I want to grab a road. We'll probably do one that's tree lined. You know what? It's not tree lined for that middle section, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to loop this in, and then we're going to loop this in. And this is just going to be our main entrance area. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way back here, and I want to create an extension to the mall. So a lot of times whenever you have these malls, you have like little shops around as well. It's not just the mall, like you would have other amenities in the area, like restaurants and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and go like this, and then let's go ahead and connect this up as well, just to provide that access. And then what we're going to do, you need to go into your districts, and we're going to right mouse button so that we can clear out a nice little space. And then let's go all the way around, and you have a new district style. So if I turn on my districts, we can go to this Victoria district, plop this down, we can hit shopping malls. And so what this is going to do is it's going to allow all of the growables that grow in here to be a part of the shopping malls DLC. So we're going to go ahead and fill in all these little squares back here. And then let's go ahead and fill this in as well. I don't want them to go on the road. And then we'll even get like a nice we'll get like a little corner space in there. I think we'll leave this empty, but what this is going to do is give us a lot of our growables. And I really like these buildings. They're a lot like the wall to walls, but not pedestrianized. So you do have more of like a strip mall kind of shopping mall area. I think they're really fun assets. You even have like some smaller parking lots and stuff. Like you get a lot of these patios and stuff like that. There's a 1x1 that's a little parking lot that I think is cool. And so I'm going to go ahead and throw up some paths, probably do some rocks, maybe some rocks over here, turn it into a grand entrance, and then we'll be able to look a little bit more at these growables when they're all kind of grown in. All right, and so here is our mall. And you can kind of see what I was talking about with it being almost like a wall-to-wall look with these right here. I think it's a really awesome look. You get a really good mix of like restaurants and little shops, and even looks like some of these would probably be offices in real life. They're like little boutique shops, and if we come back here, you can kind of see there's different color variations as well. Like this one's got rooftop patios. It looks really cool, and this was the kind of small one. It's just a little patio, so you could even plop this down. I think it's like a 1x2. Like you could just shoot for this and then do little patios around your builds and stuff. There's little parking lots as well that are the 1x2s. And so like right here, we just have a whole row of patios. This is really cool. It looks like some of them actually don't have little planters in the front too, which is interesting. But like they kind of fill in these little spaces, which is cool. And so like this building looks really cool. I think this may even be the same one as the other one, just a different color. Yeah. Oh man, look at this one too. I didn't even see this. Is this connected to that building? Yeah, it is. So that's just got to be a little patio connected to that. And then I went ahead and added in another one of these stations. We had an underground metro, so I was like, you know what, this is going to be a good location. So I connected up our tram stops, and we now have metro access over here. And this is really the big thing with, whenever cities build these in real life, what they generally do is they have this large building and just a sea of parking, and it is not pedestrian friendly. In order for you to even walk to the building, a lot of times you have to walk across huge sloughs of parking where it's just really unsafe for pedestrians. And so having this metro access and this tram access and not really prioritizing parking here is an awesome addition. Even though people with cars, this would definitely be a little bit of a struggle. If you lived in the city, it'd be better to just take the metro down here. But that's really one of the ways that you can encourage people to take your mass transit. And so now moving on to the next thing, I want to come in here and place down a couple more of these. So we have a few little empty spots. We have this up here. I'm thinking down here would be a good spot for one of our little grocery stores. So if we go in here and let's go, large grocery store. So I want to be able to place this in and probably get a couple parking lots because we're definitely going to need a little bit of parking for this. So we'll come up here, let's go ahead and connect that up. And then what I'm going to do is move our water tower over. We'll go like that and make sure it is reconnected. And then let's go back into our roads and connect this up. Yeah, we'll go like that. And then let's place down our grocery store. Let's do a road sideways and see if we can fit it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to though. So it looks like we need to be a little bit closer. Let's see if we can get that closer. So we'll place that right there, and then let's see if we can snake our road to the side. That would be the ideal spot. So let's go ahead and turn off snapping, have this come up over here, and then come in the back. You know what? Let's actually have this connect up right there. And then we want to try and connect this up, and voila. And the reason we wanted to do that is to place a little bit of parking in the back. So if we go over to this other parks tab, so what we're gonna do is we'll place one of the big ones, and then we'll place a couple of these smaller ones, maybe just the big one. Yeah, that's okay right there. It's not really a ton of parking, but it's better than nothing, I guess. And so now I think that's pretty good. We got through access. I do wish that this maybe looked a little bit better. Maybe we'll just do some of the smaller ones. Yeah, so if we do these, maybe this will just look a little bit better. So I ended up just deleting that one. So we got two small parking lots in here. This is really good access for people walking here though, so I think that this is a good fit. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up some trees real quick, and voila. Now we have a neighborhood grocery store. It is Food Plus. I think this is really cool. I like that they added these. And we even have some space over here to be able to do maybe one of those other parks. We'll go in here. Let's do one of the community parks in here. I think that this would be a nice little addition. Maybe we'll do the small soccer field. Let's actually do a couple of them. So if we do two of those, yeah, you know what? It's actually really close to the. We'll keep it. Growing up, I played rookie soccer, and so one of the things I remember is that they would have these huge fields where it would just basically be a bunch of soccer fields in a row. So that's kind of where I got this idea from, placing these right next to each other. I think it's a cool addition, it's a good filler, it fills in the space, makes your city look a little more alive, more real, and then just kind of fill in these spaces. All right, so I think that this is an awesome little addition for this area, and this is a really easy way to kind of butter up your neighborhoods and fill in some of those spaces. So I do want to come in here to our main little commercial center, and I was thinking that we could upgrade all of this to the shopping malls just to kind of see what buildings we get. Plus, I think it'll end up looking a little bit better. So if we grab all this, let's find the center, let's go to shopping malls, and we'll watch all this sadly disappear. There's probably a lot of historic buildings in there, buildings that have been there since the beginning, but it'll really kind of give us an idea of all the different buildings, and we'll really get to kind of see what's going on. And so now let's go ahead and check out some of the other things that have been released. So there was another DLC called Africa in Miniature. And this one, I'm kind of on the fence about. There's a few things that I like about it. I don't really think that it gives you enough for me to recommend it. I think for most people, this would be a pass, but it does add in a couple cool features. Like if you go into the unique buildings tab in here, I'm in Africa in Miniature. There's some really cool buildings in here, and they really do provide a different kind of look versus what a lot of the buildings that we have. And so we'll kind of come over here. Let's place this down here. So this is headquarters for banking and investment. I'm not really sure where it's from. I kind of wish that there was maybe a tag like they did with the skyscrapers DLC, or if this is even a real building or not. But I think it looks cool. It's bright colors. But then let's go ahead and place this one down as well in our downtown. So we'll probably come back here. Let's find just a couple little office buildings maybe. Oh, this one right here actually. So if we place this right there, let's check that out. Yeah, so it's gold and red. I actually think this one looks cool. It is it's almost Art Deco kind of architectural style, but I think it looks good. And then along with that, there are 9 growables. I'm not really sure what the growables are. They don't even list where they pop up. Maybe they're residential or commercial, but you do get a couple new monuments, which is very unique. So you have the Monument of Colossal Heroes, a structure for workers to visit during free time, which is kind of cool. It's not too big, and it is a unique design, so it's kind of fun. If we were to be able to place this down here somewhere, it'd probably be a nice little addition for this area. Let's actually place it right there and see what it looks like. So if we do that, yeah, you know what? I actually think that that looks pretty cool. So we'll place that, and then let's try to level it. Of course, we're not going to be able to get it to level. If I had moved it, I'd be able to just shift it over that, half a square. And so I think that monument is pretty cool. The other one I haven't unlocked, it says construct Colossal Order offices, its first requirement, which it's funny. I felt like we had that one, but I guess not. And so let's go ahead and check out some of the other things for Africa in Miniature. I really don't think that it's the Sanctum, a place for meditation and worship. This is kind of cool. It's a smaller building. And so this could be just almost like a church religious building, but for Buddhism maybe, or something along those lines. And then we can come in here. So we have the Royal Museum. This building actually looks kind of cool. I like the snakes. I think it's a really fun look, and the spider on top, really unique. And so this is like a mosque, which is kind of cool. We don't have anything like that in the game. So now we can have a proper representation of all the different religions and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. And so we can look at some of the other buildings. Let's look at this. Oh yeah, look at this. This one's actually cool. This one I could see in a downtown almost, or a marketplace of some kind. I think that would be a fun little building. And then we have the communications center. We have this one. I think this building was another one that I was thinking about placing just to kind of get down there. I like the little fountain in the middle. I think it's a neat asset. And then the other ones, so it's 20,000 squares of commercial zone built. And the Unity Pyramid, I'm guessing that one's probably going to be pretty big. And then, there's another little monument. That's cool. And then this building actually is one that I'm interested in. So it's a big conference center. And this one, I think on our next build, we're going to do something incorporating this. I was kind of hoping to get something on this one, but because of the DLC and this week, I just wanted to get more of an overview. And so we're probably going to do something fun with this one on the next one. This one's like a convention center or something like that. We don't have anything like that in the game currently. The African Miniature still does offer a lot for people who, are just looking for new buildings, especially if you're playing on console. Once these do drop on console, these are more assets. And so these are things that, with PC, we have access to the Steam Workshop to where we can get these buildings a little bit easier. So if you're playing on PC, I don't know if this one's as worth it. I mean, it's still pretty inexpensive. It really depends, on whether that you're willing to make that investment or not. But the sports venues and the shopping malls, definitely worth it. I think they are fantastic. And then all the new free updates, I think this is really cool to see them adding content to old DLCs. It's really nice to see them doing that. It's kind of like a bonus for having all those. This was another station that we didn't have, and it's actually really cool. And so it doesn't have to have a road in the middle. middle, which is really nice. That was kind of one of my big gripes with the other ones. So this one actually has like these little steps and stuff and a nice underground station with an open overview up top. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and dot around some more of those community parks around just so we can kind of see how it fills in a lot of these spaces. All right, so I added in a few more little community parks, added in one right there, one right here, and our whole center area is now built up so we can come in here and kind of check out all these shopping mall buildings. I believe it's like 50 something growables that we got with the shopping mall content creator pack, which is just awesome. I love it when they do large drops of asset growables like that. I think it is just fantastic. And so a couple other small changes that they did that are also equally impactful. They did add in quite a few new vehicles. So like if we go into trams, they added in the capacity for all vehicles now, as well as adding in some new ones, which are really fun. I think it's really nice knowing the overall capacity, because before it was like some of them had it and some of them didn't. They added in another 500 capacity metro, or 450. So there's a 500, yeah, so second 500. So now you can kind of change the colors. Maybe you don't like the look or something. But then there's also, some more vintage ones or some more like streamlined ones. It really depends on what kind of look you're going for in your city. I believe they added in a new taxi as well. I don't think we have taxi service. We do. So like now we'll be able to come down here and choose this little black taxi cab, which is like a UK taxi cab, which I think looks really cool. They did add in some high capacity helicopter depots, which I think are fantastic. And so what we're going to do is actually delete these and replace them real quick so we can kind of check them out. It's kind of funny. They didn't really, they're not entirely new buildings. All they did was add more helicopter stands. For the medical one, it is slightly bigger, but for all the other ones, it's practically the same exact building, just with more helicopter stands, which it's kind of funny, but it is nice having the capability to have more helicopters. It's not like you place these down and you come in here and you have the capability to have 10 helicopters out at once. You can kind of see they just added in like more helicopter. So like on top of the roof, and then one more over here. And then over here, I think they did add in a little bit more. I want to say it's the original one was quite a bit smaller. Yeah, so they added in this whole back building with this one, with another helicopter stand and stuff. And then there is also a new disaster response building. And I don't know if we're going to be able to fit it in here. So what I want to do, let's actually test it out. I haven't tested this out yet. So if we come in here to our disaster response area, and let's go to the new building now. So disaster response airbase. Yeah. So this one is literally the same exact building pretty much, but now it has a bunch of these, and same kind of deal. Now you can have 10 helicopters, which I think is a really nice addition. So like if you're playing with disasters or something, that'll really kind of help out your city a lot, rather than having to place multiple of these. Like I know in Crater Lake, I have multiple helicopter depots, and so now I'll be able to just kind of place one. All right, and so I think that is it. We definitely didn't go over everything. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to the patch notes as well as the DLC info down below. And there's still a couple other things, like they added a new key, a couple roads, and a few other miscellaneous things that I may have missed. But overall, my suggestion is that Shopping Malls Content Creator Pack and the Sports Venues Content Creator Pack are must-haves, definitely worth it. They are going to really help to make your city a lot more vibrant and robust. The African miniature, it's really up to you. I got it because I'm a creator. Will I use a lot of the buildings? I don't know. I think the conference center may be worth it because of its sheer size and its impactfulness on the community that it's going to be placed into. We're going to be able to do like a huge business district and really make it into a fun build. I think we'll actually do that on this next one. All right, so go ahead and let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you enjoyed this episode, you will definitely enjoy the episode on your screen. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.